I'm James Hogan.
And I'm Stacy Miller, and this is the September 2025 edition of Western Wednesdays.
Welcome to Western Wednesdays. I'm James Hogan, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Engagement. With me, Stacy Miller, Director of Alumni Engagement. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Students are back.
Students are back.
So
Everything's
exciting.
happening.
Yes.
We had a great home opener.
We had a great home opener. It's been great.
Such a big
It's a
time.
good start to the year.
Big night. EJ Whitmire, a little different, but it's coming right along with the new construction project. Hey, I want to talk about a subject that neither of us really know a lot about, and that's engineering.
That's right. Nothing, actually. We've learned a lot. Excited, to share. We had Monty Graham, class of 95 and 03.
That's right.
About that.
Double degree.
That's right.
And
Brett Banther, classes of 06 and then 09.
2009. That, one of the things I think is so fun. So we're going to interview these two guys from WCU's Rapid Center, and they'll tell you about what the Rapid Center is, but that place is chock full of alumni.
Yes, and who knew just how interactive that whole program is, and the whole center, and how engaged that center is, not just with Western Carolina and our students and faculty and other staff here, but also in the Western North Carolina region.
It is a really cool story, and we talk about student engagement, regional support. We talk about some really cool products as well. So
yeah, I learned a lot. Super excited to share this one with all of you guys.
All right, let's get into it. Monty Graham, Brett Banther, welcome to Western Wednesdays, and thanks for spending time with us today.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
So, Monty, your class of 95, Masters in 03, Brett 06 undergrad, and 09 Masters.
Yep.
Let's just start off with both of you and talk about your time at WCU. What brought you here? What experiences did you have here as undergraduate or even grad students that helped to kind of shape you into who you are today?
You want me to go first? That's why you're looking at me. So I started here as an undergrad in summer of 1990. So in the late 1900s.
I love it.
And got my graduated and went to work in Charlotte in an unrelated field for a while, and then came back to work basically as a lab manager for what was then the Department of Engineering and Technology.
Not yet a college.
And,
at Western.
No, not yet, or a school at that point. So then, shortly, I'd say in 01 or so, the Rapid Center, the Center for Rapid Product Realization, was created, and concurrently, while I was working, I got my master's in 03. So that's sort of a little bit of the timeline, and I've been here ever since.
Wow.
So,
Brett?
Yeah, so I grew up in Baton Rouge and had moved here the junior year of high school to Western North Carolina. And so the mountains were relatively new to me. Both my parents' families were from the mountains. So we had vacations up here and stuff. But a lot of the people I graduated with were looking to get out of the mountains and leave, but they were still, relatively new for me. So Western was one of the places that I applied to, and was fortunate enough to get a full ride to come here on an academic scholarship. So came here, and I was considering either architecture or engineering. I was, decent in the STEM kind of subjects, and I wanted to do something creative. So narrowed it down to those two fields. And then when I came here, the engineering program was kind of on the upward trend, and I found my way into the engineering technology program in 2002 when I started here. And so I spent a lot of time doing that, and I spent a lot of time with the Honors College, worked my way through there. That was where I had my student employment, as an undergrad, and got to work real closely with the dean, Brian Railsback. Eventually got on the board of directors there. And my senior year, I was fortunate enough to be honors board of director president for the student committee there. And had a lot of fun doing that, doing the engineering stuff. Had and playing Ultimate Frisbee. So,
Playing a lot of Ultimate
yeah, playing a
Frisbee.
lot of Ultimate. Yeah,
That was such a thing.
Yeah, and still is.
Hey, it's still a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So one of those three things is what I would be doing pretty much at any given hour.
Yeah. Baton Rouge, not like Cullowhee, North Carolina.
Not at all.
No. Some of the schools there have similar colors, but
a little.
very,
We'll talk
very
about
different.
them.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Brett, you mentioned, being in several different departments and areas and pretty engaged, but I'd love to hear from the both of you on, any mentors in your time here that you feel really shaped your career path or really made an impact on your time as a student at Western.
Sure.
So it's interesting. When I was a grad student, I was working for the department at the time, and Dr. Aaron Ball was somebody that I was working with closely, and he was just doing all these things in automation and CNC machining and things of that nature. So he really became a good friend of mine, coworker, and a mentor when I was in the program and working here, and is still a good friend of mine now. So.
Yeah, I have to second that. I worked closely with Dr. Ball as a grad student. He was on my thesis committee, so I spent a lot of time with him in that regard. And then one of my student partners, Johnson Busick, he and I did a lot of project work for Dr. Ball and built a lot of technical, like lab implements, exercises for his class. Another person that I would like to mention would be, I think I mentioned him already, but Dr. Brian Railsback, Dean Railsback, in the Honors College. We spent a lot of time together. We went to New Orleans together. We went to St. Louis together for NCUR and a couple other conferences, and that was a lot of fun. And then he had some advice for me that kind of shaped what I did after undergraduate school. He had suggested taking a year off between each degree. That's something that I think he did, and do something outside, like completely outside of your field of study, and just you come back with a refreshed, perspective on everything. And so I took off a year, and I went to California. I lived in North Hollywood and did a bunch of like film and TV stuff for a year.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of like background work and independent short film stuff, and so came back and I was like, I'm ready to do engineering again.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
We have talked about Brian Railsback so many times this summer.
Absolutely.
And so it was really neat.
Yeah.
And just doing, some new work with college development plans, but really when we went on our new student send-off tour.
Absolutely.
And talking about Brenton Honors College and so many stories of Brian Railsback
Dean
on this
Railsback,
campus.
the founding dean of the Honors
Yes.
College.
Yeah.
And what a great college it is today, and how much it's grown. So the Rapid Center starts in 2001, and what sort of brought each of you in there? What was it that first attracted you about this whole? And actually, let's just start off by defining what is the Rapid Center, and what was it that got you interested in being part of that?
So the Rapid Center is a nonprofit product development center. We're a department within the College of Engineering, and we basically provide engineering support services related to prototyping, product testing, reverse engineering, things of that nature. So we're 4 currently full-time engineers. We're 12-month employees. We work on projects for entrepreneurs, for companies that don't exist yet. People just have some product they want realized, hence the name. And maybe there's a larger company that we work with that doesn't have resource. Maybe there's a department we're working with within that company that just doesn't have resources to dedicate to prototype or some testing, something like that. We also administer the engineering capstone program for the college.
Yeah.
So we basically most of our engineering capstones are industrial sponsored projects. So we do all the contractual things for that and provide support for those projects as well. So that's kind of the Rapid Center in a nutshell. Did I miss anything?
No, that's pretty good. it's a struggle to explain what we do, and I think
We
we
always-
do a pretty good job. Yeah.
It's a joke, really, because your question isn't a joke, but we laugh about that because we'll be out in public or we'll be out with family, and we'll be in a store, and someone's like, "Oh, where are you working?" I was like, "Oh, I work at Western." I was like, "Oh, well, do you teach?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." Well, no. Are you a student? It's like, well, no. And they go, "Oh, okay, whatever." And you try to explain like the technical things, and as soon as you say reverse engineering, rapid prototyping or 3D printing, people just, their eyes glaze over.
They kind of back away. Like, okay.
I mean, I've got family members that don't know what I do, and I've explained it 50 times. So.
Monty, you talked, and both of you are products of the university. But talk a little bit about, I'm interested in hearing beyond the capstone, how you filter in, how are you getting students, meshed in with your work and with your program?
So in the past, we've done like a summer internship program where we've had, I'd say anywhere from 3 to 7 or 8 students who have come and worked with us over the summer. And they're usually juniors or seniors or going into grad school. And we will take some of our industry projects from the Rapid Center and kind of let the students kind of run those projects, and we manage them from a little bit of an oversight perspective. And then they kind of get this extra training, and they can cross-train with each other. And then when they come back for their senior year or their future years of grad school, they kind of take more of a leadership role in the college. We've kind of slowed down on that over the last couple of years and shifted towards having some high school students from NCSSM on Morganton come over.
Yeah.
We may go back to the internship program at some point. But that's one way we've done it that's not capstone related.
Right.
Yeah, we've really served as the external, the outward-facing kind of engagement arm of the college for a while. Even though the schools do their thing too with industry, but part of outreach is getting students excited about technology and what we do. So summers is a good time for that.
So it's interesting to me because. Particularly given your background with the Honors College and knowing you talked about the student-led board of directors that you were president of, and that's something that Dr. Railsback was really passionate about. He wanted students, well, he had to have students because initially he didn't have any staff as the founding dean, but the students ran the program, and undergraduate research really quickly became a hallmark of that program that spread beyond the Honors College. So you had students doing hands-on research, chasing their own curiosity around different projects. I hear a lot of echoes of that in the Rapid Centers, particularly with capstones, particularly with internships. What kinds of experiences do students get to walk away from the Rapid Center having gained through these hands-on experiences with industry and with other projects?
Yeah, so with capstone or the intern program that we had, the students start to deal with problems that are not in a textbook, right? So they're customer-sourced problems, and there's really not a good solution because if there was, they wouldn't be asking for help.
They wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah, and so the students really have this ability to work on undefined problems and projects, and through that they can gain experience communicating back and forth with the customer, managing expectations, kind of going off script and running into a dead end, having to back up. And a lot of these things, they may not have solutions. There's no guarantee that they're going to find a solution to these problems. But I think you learn a lot through failure, and you learn a lot through kind of being forced into these situations. So I think if they go and have an interview with a potential employer, when they ask about experience and ask about problems that you ran into, I think this would provide a lot of good answers and experience to kind of go into that situation.
And speaking of interview, the 2-semester capstone process per the program actually serves as an interview for companies that are looking for people. We've had some teams get hired. The whole team gets hired by companies.
Wow.
It doesn't happen every year, but it has happened before. So it's a really good way for companies to kind of scout talent and support the program in that way.
I can imagine. that y'all are familiar with MythBusters. I
Of
love
course.
the Adam
Yeah.
Savage quote: "Failure is always an option."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We actually say that with Capstone. We say that
Yeah.
it's not encouraged, but it happens,
Yeah.
and it's part of experiential learning,
Right.
team
Yeah.
building, and oftentimes the most difficult part is has nothing to do with anything technical. It's people.
yeah. Spoken like a true engineer,
yeah.
Monty.
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah,
I'm just going to sip my coffee on that one.
Yeah, there's an Office Space quote that we go back to a lot about we're not people. I'm not a people person.
Somebody has to talk to the engineers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
although I will say that we always talk about how we're a close-knit group. We're all, in some fashion or another, friends outside of work and
Sure.
school and things. And the people is really what makes us tick, like do what we can do. The technology, the machines, all those things are great. If we can solve a problem without technology or with little technology and just being practical about problem solving, we'll do it. Sometimes that disappoints people, but
They want to use the big fancy machine, and we're like, wow.
it just
Or-
pushes the magic button there, and it doesn't always work that way. We've actually worked with individuals and companies that went out and they got some of the same equipment and they couldn't achieve the same results, and we're like, well, that's got a lot to do with experience and just how we operate. So the room full of technology is really exciting to see, but we just feel like the human element is what makes us unique, not just as a center, but college-wide as well. It's just a very nurturing environment, I'd say, for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really happy to be part of the team that we're a part of. As he mentioned, there's 4 engineers across different backgrounds, but all 4 of us are graduates from WCU with undergraduate and graduate degrees, so 8 degrees between the 4 of us. And our most recent hire into the Rapid Center engineering pool is probably 12 years ago. So it's been
You guys have been.
yeah,
Been
it's
going
been
at
like-
this for a while.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and call them out by name.
Yeah.
Sure.
I hate the fact, we talked about this beforehand.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't have the chance. We couldn't squeeze everybody in and
Yeah.
talk to everybody. But you've got a department full of alumni.
Yeah, we do. So Sean Livers is our electrical engineer in the Rapid Center. He does a little bit of everything. He welds. He does CNC machining. He's also quite skilled at electrical reverse engineering and building custom circuit boards and things of that nature.
Yep. And then we have Mike Clare. He's kind of the counterpart to me. He does a lot of mechanical design, reverse engineering, product development, that sort of thing.
That's so cool.
So I'm gonna just keep on going down that path. You talked about products. You've talked about projects. You've talked about teamwork. So what is a project or product that you have worked on here through the Rapid Center that you're particularly proud of?
I've got a few. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the projects that I've worked on, not alone, obviously, it was quite a large project. Sean was really involved with this one as well. But we did a project for a company in Asheville called Cultivated Cocktails, and it's a small facility with a small crew of folks that work there, and so they're limited on space and resources, and they wanted to be able to so they have their empty bottles come in, and they want to rinse them and dry them and fill them and cap them. And so right now prior to this, it was a very laborious process. And so we built a semi-automated work cell to help them do this. And that started off as a senior capstone project. The owner of the company, Taylor Howard, he's also an alumni
Oh, wow.
from our
Yeah.
program. So he has a
He
real
knew
good,
who to call.
yeah, he knew who to call.
He
and-
supported several projects over the years.
yeah, he's been a great partner for us. But yeah, he knew our capabilities and student capabilities. So it started as a capstone project. I think it ran for its first year, and then 2020 happened and the students weren't able to finish it because of COVID. And so it went to a second year capstone, and they kind of continued a little bit more. I think there might have been a third spin on that. But then eventually we brought it into the Rapid Center, and Sean and I did a lot of redesign and iterations to it. We probably spent, just within the Rapid Center, 2 to 3 years on that project. And it was probably the longest running project I've been a part of. And each one of those stations, the rents, the fill, the capping, it was all in their own right a large project. But to bring it all together into one work cell was pretty cool. I was really happy with the way we were able to pull it all together.
That's awesome.
Monty, project for you or?
Well, only because it's sitting in front of me.
Oh, you
and
brought it.
I keep staring at it. But
Well, I've been waiting
in
because
fact,
this is,
Brett, I didn't know which one he was going to pick, so you probably talk more about this than I. But this is a project that started out as a capstone for an ENT doctor in Raleigh-Durham area. Started out as this capstone with a student team. It's a surgical assistance device used for a type of nasal. I'm going to mess it up if I try to butcher the words. I think rhino's in there somewhere. I think rhino means nose.
That works,
So it's basically
balloon endoscopy, I think is the word you're looking
it's
for.
a
balloon endoscopy.
balloon endoscopy.
Okay.
So it's got suction, irrigation, and inflation of this little balloon.
and
it's
illumination.
and illumination, so it's got a little light, and it goes into the nasal cavity and expands and can open up your they actually fracture some of the bones up in there to increase the ability for some people that have difficulty with obstructive, I think maybe sleep apnea and other breathing respiratory issues can aid in that. And that's all I know about that. But as far as what it's used for, so this started out as a student design. The sponsor wanted to bring it into the center for a refinement. So Brett and Sean did a lot to squeeze a lot of components into this device and change the shape of it, and then. Pretty cool. Shortly thereafter, when we did some prototypes for them that they could test and evaluate, actually went to a company for manufacturing, and the project lead on that was one of our graduates as well.
Wow.
Yeah, in fact, she was one of the students on the capstone team that first worked on the
Originally.
project.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so kind
That's
of
cool. Full
closed
circle.
full
Yeah.
circle. Yep.
So
And,
Monty's brought it. We're going to try here on Stacy.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and at the same time, I'm thinking, this is really cool, Monty, and you can put that down at any
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Because as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it hurts.
So-
I liked it better when all I was seeing was
So yeah, so strangely enough, we've done some quite a few biomedical products, and whenever they come to us, like if they send us samples, they're usually in a Ziploc bag, and sometimes they have iodine on them or something worse, and we're just kind of drawing straws to see who's going to do the project. It's like, okay, this
where
is
are the
yours.
gloves at?
Exactly.
We're gonna-
Yeah. Get the nitrile gloves out.
Yeah.
Now, so, but medical devices like that, there's a lot that has to go into producing a medical. You have to have it certified. It has to be.
Yeah, this just got FDA approval 23, I think.
That's a big process.
And it took years.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got the patent process and all that thing, all those things, I should say, wrapped up into it as well. But yeah, it's a long haul.
You know, it's interesting. I think a lot of times when we hear about stuff like this, when you hear about research at a university and product development and teams that are working to develop medical devices, like, and I think a lot of people, their mind might go to Chapel Hill, right? Or they might go to Georgia Tech, major research universities that are doing this kind of work with major pharmaceutical. We did this for Johnson & Johnson. You guys are working with small businesses in the region with sometimes individuals. But that has such an impact on our economic development, on
That's right.
small businesses in our region.
Yeah.
And it really is a great example of how we serve Western North Carolina
right.
and the Southeast.
Exactly.
Yeah, the center was created to support regional economic development for job creation, job retention. That's really what we're all about. And to that note, it's interesting. I say that a lot. It is interesting though. A lot of people that we talk to, we meet with folks and we have consultations. We don't charge for those. We do charge for our services, but someone comes and talks to us about a problem they've got. We consult with them, and a lot of times at the end of that meeting, maybe it's not the Rapid Center isn't a good fit for them, but we've steered them in the right direction. Maybe they learned a term or terminology, and we learned a term that they didn't know. That say, oh, that thing that you got, like that's called that's called a blankety blank. And by the way, if you go and
balloon
Google,
endoscopy, actually,
Yeah.
if you Google that term, you can go and get more of those. If you instead of having us, design and develop something, those are already in existence, or maybe we're not a good fit, but we know somebody who is, that type of thing. So I guess what I'm saying is, a lot of times we'll help people without really, engaging in a project per se. We just talk to them about what their needs are, and we steer them in another direction.
Your advisors
and those
in
are,
that sense, yeah.
And those are successes too.
Yeah.
So
That consultant piece.
As you work in these partnerships, and I think Monty, you just hit the nail on the head, right? It's a direct mission of our university to serve our Western North Carolina region. But you've listed off between the two of you multiple partnerships and projects with other places. What's a challenge in the engineering of some of these things that you've hit? Maybe an example of of one of those, and how you guys work to overcome that.
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest
I
challenges.
don't want to know that the challenge was the balloon blowing up in someone's nose too big, because
We never had
that
to do
still
that.
is
Hey,
painful.
Fred, come over here. Let me try this thing again. I think we've got it calibrated.
Yeah. No, for me, one of the coolest and most frustrating parts of what we do in the Rapid Center, it's very much a catch-22 situation, is a lot of the projects that we have on the table and the ones that we've done, they're very different from each other.
Yeah.
And so when they come through the door, we've probably never done it before, and then once we complete it, we'll probably never do something like it again.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so,
You're not repeating anything.
Yeah, and so when I worked in industry prior to this, I was doing the same kind of thing over and over, and I really got to hone in on that skill, that process. But these are all so different that a lot of times I feel like a novice when somebody comes through the door. And the ENT doc who brought this in, it's like, I don't know anything about this process. Like, we were all looking at each other like, what is this? I don't know. And so we've gotten pretty good at learning how to find things and research things and familiarize ourselves with that. So that can be frustrating to always feel like you're out of your element every time you start a new project.
Does I imagine that helps too, because you don't have a predefined
Energized,
solution.
yeah.
There's no preconceived notions on how you need it, and we like that. It's challenging. People sometimes get nervous. And like, what do you mean you've never done this before? No, we've never done this before.
Yeah.
But we've gone through the process of product development, design, fabrication, prototyping. Like, we have all the tools, and it's just a matter of finding the right way to apply that knowledge to the current project.
Yeah, but to your point, the people who are in that field, they're real biased to what they're
Right.
They're kind of influenced by what they've seen their whole career, and we have this unique, fresh perspective, and
Right.
sometimes we can come up with this really out of left field solution. So
Right.
it could be useful.
You're not stuck in the box because you've been in the industry, and I mean even the things that you've brought here. You've got a piece of surgical equipment, and then something that looks like it could be bolted onto an engine block.
That's that's actually a part we did for
the English major has
I like
now
it.
correctly identified
Wow.
the.
I like it.
Moving up in the world.
I'm very proud. Please put that on my bonus.
That's awesome.
So it's a huge variety of stuff. And tell us real quickly what else I can recognize the alumni tower. That's not the thing that
that's
you bolt
good.
onto.
So we have, the term 3D printing. The Rapid Center actually started where we had some industrial 3D printers, but they were the technology was called rapid prototyping at the
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
and so it's been around since the late 80s, which a lot of people are surprised to hear. But so we've been doing this for a long time. It's been around for a while, but we started out in polymers. So we were doing like plastics like ABS and polycarbonate. And within the last 10 years, we acquired a metal 3D printer. So this alumni tower is made out of stainless 316 stainless steel, for example. So what Metals is doing is it's allowing you to make end-use parts, not just prototypes. So you've got nearly 100% part density, and you can make very robust parts that can be used in end-use applications. So this is another example of a part that was done on the metal 3D printer. This actually is a injection molded part, but it started out as a polymer-based prototype that we made in-house. These are some parts that we made for Catawba County Emergency Services during COVID.
Really?
They could not get components for their PAPR hoods, for their suits, when they were treating for medical response teams that were treating patients. And
Wow.
they couldn't get these little connectors, basically.
Fittings, yeah.
So Mike actually reverse engineered what they had on hand, and we were able to 3D print copies to get them what they needed to be up and running in the short term until the companies could meet the demand for that product.
And so this was really early on during the whole COVID thing, and
Yes.
the university was shut down except for essential
Yeah.
personnel and all that stuff. And we were still kind of churning along and working remote and coming into the office to use the equipment when we needed to. And so it was kind of a skeleton crew situation. But yeah, we were doing this and face shields
I
for.
remember the face shields.
Yeah.
The face shields, I'm assuming the product you're talking about is for like a breathing apparatus.
It is, yeah.
To
Yeah.
safely be able to at the time. It's easy to forget. It is so easy to forget early in the pandemic how desperately few supplies there were.
That's right.
Yeah.
And some of those problems it seemed like forever, but some of those problems very quickly went away when
Right.
production was able to ramp up. People, understood the assignment at that point. Like, okay.
Right.
But I think the thing about us is that wasn't the important thing. The important thing was that we were able to respond very quickly.
and help, like legitimately say, here you go, plug this thing in. And then what's the piece there at the end? That looks a little more complicated.
Yeah, so this is a wearable, what would you call it? An assistive medical device. So it's basically a headset. What's that? Yeah, it's an automated eye drop applicator. So the
I need this. Go ahead.
yeah. So the
So as long as it doesn't go up your nose, you're okay.
No, I'm
But
fine. Yeah.
This one just shoots into your eyes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so the target audience, I guess, for this would be people who have dexterity issues or aren't able to actually, administer their eye drops on their own. And so you would put this wearable device on. There's parts missing. We give away all the good stuff to the customer, and we keep all like the leftovers. But you would load a off-the-shelf eye drop cartridge. You talked about getting FDA approval and everything. Well, there's some ways you can go about it where you don't have to get that. So if you don't actually tamper with the medical device itself or the medicated, in this case, the eye drops.
Prepackaged.
It's prepackaged. So you put a prepackaged thing in here, and you would load it into this, and you'd wear it and kind of hit the button and arm it, and you'd lie down. It's got cameras and it's got sensors, and so it's
Wow.
looking at your orientation. And once you get into position, you'll get a little green light, and then the motors will kick in and it'll squeeze the bottle. It'll administer the eye drop, and there's an IR sensor in there to know whether or not the eye drop actually was administered, and a camera to kind of look and track what's going on. The customer for this was a faculty member down in Florida. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was at U of F for a while, and now he's in Colorado. I believe.
And so, yeah, he pursued a patent on this and was able to,
Oh, neat.
I think, achieve that. And so, those of us who worked on it, we're on the patent as well, which is nice.
That's really
Right.
cool.
Yeah, but he retained all the IP. That's kind of the agreement that we have with the Rapid Center.
So yeah, actually, let's talk about that really quick.
Sure.
The IP, the intellectual property and patents. These are legal things.
Right.
You mentioned at the start that Rapid Center is a nonprofit.
Right.
And so if the guy who takes that patent and brings it to market makes $1 gajillion, what happens to the Rapid Center?
Right.
We
So-
don't make $1 gajillion, I guess.
That's right. And that's what keeps a lot of universities from doing this type of work is they want a stake in that. And there may be an opportunity in the future where we do have some licensing. The way it works is somebody comes to us with intellectual property. What you bring to us belongs to you at the end of the day. If we do something to enhance our process that we could apply to other projects, it belongs to us. Typically, if we do something that enhances your product, we assign that what's called a quit claim. We assign that back to the inventor. But they have to list the engineers or even the students on the patent for it to be valid.
Yeah.
All the inventors have to be listed. So that I think gives us a little bit of an edge when it comes to working with some of these companies. Another thing to note is a lot of times we work with folks, there may be no IP. They don't have anything. They don't have a patent. They've got a problem they're trying to solve, and we can do that. And there's no, so that's definitely something that makes us pretty unique. A lot of times when you approach, you talked about the Chapel Hills and NC States of the world. When we do a lot of work with big universities that don't operate this way because of that. But it's just not what they do. They do what they do very well, but it's just not, the path that they go down. A lot of them are R1s that are doing basic research. We're more applied in nature, and when we've had several folks that have come to us because they went to other universities and said they didn't know what to do with me, and I'm like, yeah, I know, and they wanted
James
to.
says that about me every day.
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, we say that about it. Yeah, we don't constantly.
Right,
So
yeah.
I get that, but so that's one of the unique characteristics of how we operate. So
We've talked about the innovative pieces of the work that you do, and also how this serves our Western North Carolina region. How do you feel like your direct work plays a role in the student experience here at Western?
Well, you mentioned the College of Engineering. We have, the schools within the college, construction management and the School of Engineering Technology. They engage with industry too, and through their advisory boards, and so there's a lot of interconnectivity there, and I think keeping the relationship with industry and involving students in all the different academic activities, capstone, and all the ways that the other industry partners can interact with students is one thing that makes us that gives us the edge and allows those opportunities.
This was back in April of this year, and our capstone course was wrapping up. And I'm one of the co-instructors of this course, and I mentor a couple of the teams and students through that. And so I had gone out to Asheville to GE Aerospace with the team that worked for GE in capstone, and they were presenting their final deliverables and everything. And so then we all kind of went out to eat lunch after the fact, and we went to Rocky's Hot Chicken Shack, which I'm a big fan of Rocky's. So, but it was myself, the student team, and the sponsor team at GE. And the sponsor team was basically 3 graduates from our program.
Wow.
Who either had undergraduate or graduate degrees from our program. So there was those 3 students who had all come through either our class or our internship program. And then I had the team that I was with, And then we look over and another group from another company comes in to have lunch. And I've got 2 students that I had mentored on that team that just come in.
Unrelated.
And then a third group from another company in Asheville comes in. And I looked around, we were sitting in the outside little dining area. And out of like the 20 people that were there, I had either taught or mentored like 14 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And we all got together and we were kind of catching up, and there was overlap between everybody, and the ones that didn't overlap were meeting each other. And it was really cool. It was a neat moment. And I was like, man, we are part of this mechanism that sort of funnels these students into like the local industry. And there's this whole culture, a community of folks that all have this like overlap. And it was really cool.
And chicken.
Engineering,
very good chicken.
engineering alumni
most
luncheon,
important, right?
Rocky's Hot Chicken.
I was going to say, you know exactly where to do
That's
the
right.
event stays. It's
Got it.
perfect. Yeah.
How did I miss
Made
that?
up mental note. I'm saying, me
Yeah.
too.
Well, yeah, but Brad, you say that, you know, we talk about this a lot. Like, try going into a public school in North Carolina and not finding a WCU education major. Try going into a hospital facility or any kind of medical workplace in Western North Carolina, not finding an HHS grad from WCU. And increasingly, try going into an engineering shop.
Right.
You know, we have a lot of engineers in the field.
Yeah, and so now, you know, talking about engineering in general, the College of Engineering is growing. We're expanding our programs. We just started civil engineering last year. We're working on adding some mechanical engineering is going to break out from our BSE, and we're adding industrial engineering. We have about $100 million for a new building.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on in that area. But yeah, it's hard. It's, you know, we're really impactful and appreciate the opportunity to do what we do.
So you're growing your faculty, you're growing your enrollment, and for folks watching or listening, the new facility is absolutely incredible. It's the initial sketches are really inspiring. It's going to go right behind the athletics complex where the tennis courts and the soccer stadium currently sit. It'll
The space
hopefully
is going to be absolutely amazing.
it'll be a game changer
Can't
for you guys. I ask this question a lot of folks, and maybe it's a little different for you because you guys both graduated from here. You work with a whole team of alumni, and you've stuck around. But if you could go back to the beginning, if you could go back and find yourselves as first-year undergrad students, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourself?
Enjoy it.
Like the chuckle, Monty. That was great.
What's that?
Monty's chuckling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I took advantage of the college experience. I wish I had done more of the things on campus that we had last minute productions. Are they still around? Is that
They're still around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should know
LMP.
that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, we did activities, we did hikes and skiing and stuff like that. And I did a lot of that, and I wish I would have done more, which in retrospect, I'm not sure I could have done more. But, you know, just to make sure you take advantage of all the resources, both academic support resources and, you know, if you're struggling, and the community-based things that are available.
Yeah, I think finding a balance in what you do during your time here is really important. If you're all in on one thing or the other, I think maybe some parts of your lives will start to suffer. And I had a lot of opportunities that actually came through because of the other things that I did that weren't engineering. Like my first job out of grad school, like the reason I got the interview and I got the job was not because of any of my engineering stuff, which is weird. He saw the line on my resume about spending time in Hollywood doing this movie stuff, and he just wanted to chat about that.
Oh, neat.
So he brought me in, and then, you know, in talking with me, I wound up getting the job. So, you know, doing these things outside of your field, I think really reinvigorates your interest in what you want to do. So yeah, like balance, do as much as you can while you're here.
Yeah, I came here, I was going to be an English major. So
close. So close.
Yeah. And I had,
oh my gosh.
I had some friends that were in the technology department at the time that were doing electronics engineering technology, and they told me I needed to do that. So that's what
Well, you know
Sweet.
what? It would have been great to have
Yeah.
you in the English department, but I think it's great that you ended up where you are.
I do. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Worked
Well,
out.
Monty, Brett, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for the time, and thanks for sharing everything about what you guys do at the Rapid Center.
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
both. We appreciate it.
You know, Stacy, one of the cool things about Monty is that all of his kids have come to WCU.
All of them, and one is still here.
Still here, just started sophomore
That's
year.
right.
That's really exciting.
So cool.
Alumni legacies everywhere.
everywhere.
Legacies. You know, okay, so we've got a ton of stuff coming up, but before we jump into alumni events, let me also just plug Rapid Center Open House,
Yeah.
October 3rd. And you can come see Monty and Brett and take a tour of the Rapid Center and see for yourself the cool things that they're doing. So glad to spend the time with them. I
Yeah.
really appreciate those guys.
Exciting.
What do you got going on?
We have so much coming on. We leave in just a couple of days.
Getting in the car.
That's right. We're headed back to the Triad. We've got over 200 people registered for our tailgate and game at Wake Forest, and really looking forward to hanging out with all the
That's sold
Catamounts
out
out there.
like a long time ago.
Yeah,
Like
real fast.
Real fast. Like every time, I mean, and it sold out like 2 times. So you kept getting more tickets and then it would keep selling out. And,
It's a great problem.
and eventually Wake Forest was like, no, it's too much purple.
That's right. So
So-
if you missed out on the chance to get tickets with us, we hope that you will snag some tickets in these last couple of hours to come join us. We're really looking forward to it.
I'm excited too.
And
I
while
think it's gonna be a
we're
great
in
game.
Wake Forest,
Yes.
or Winston-Salem
Yes.
at Wake Forest,
At Wake Forest.
we've got rugby alumni are going to be on campus for their rugby alumni weekend. So excited to have them back. It's been a couple of years since they've been back and had their alumni game.
A lot of people don't know we have club rugby and have had it for a long
Club
time.
rugby national champions.
It's a big deal.
They will absolutely remind you of that. It's great.
Glad to have you.
Yep.
Have
Right
those
after that,
guys.
yeah.
Right, yeah. I
Yep.
said
Right
you
after
like
that,
you play
we've
rugby.
got a family weekend and legacy pinning ceremony.
It is such a cool time to have all of our families back on campus, and they pin their students. Got a great parent couple, double alum, Kelly and Brian Myers, are going to be the speakers for that. So that'll be exciting.
We're going to pack out the Ramsey Center with lots of legacy families.
Oh my gosh! And homecoming is right around.
Promise there will be tears.
Oh yeah.
Tears of joy.
We should put Kleenex. Homecoming. I'm so excited about homecoming.
Do not miss that Friday night party. The post-parade party in downtown Silva has become a new tradition, and we had over 1,000 people there last year, and
many
so we can't
people.
wait to be back down there.
Go online right now, alumni.wcu.edu. There's going to be a big homecoming button when you get there, and register for that Friday night party right now. It's sold out last time. We got all the way to the end of our very cool social district cups, but we're also adding Saturday morning. Tell us what's going to happen.
Saturday morning,
Saturday
we're going to
morning.
have the Alumni Awards brunch. We've been doing the Alumni Awards recognition on Saturday morning of homecoming. We're going to change it up a little bit and just make it a little more casual. And we're going to change locations too. I think we're going to be in the Ramsey Center.
In the Ramsey Center. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I'm
Listen,
looking forward to it.
That home opener, that Friday night social, sold out in a heartbeat. The Wake Forest tailgate sold out in a heartbeat. So guys, don't wait. Get your
right.
spots. Go right now and book your ticket. The brunch is going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be music. It's basically going to be a continuation of the Friday night party.
It's going to be great.
And good drinks, good food. I think it'll be a great time. And hopefully we're going to be pulling for another homecoming Cats win. Big
Yeah,
victory. So
absolutely.
a lot of fun stuff going on there. So anything else you want to plug?
I think that's about it.
I mean, that's enough.
We have plenty of other things. But
We have lots of other things. Guys, listen, it's always a pleasure to share these episodes with you, but we love it when you share them with your friends as well. I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Scott Huffman in the science department. Scott came up to me the other day at marching band practice. Our kids are in marching band. And he's like, I love listening to your podcast because I listen to it. I don't watch it. I said, it probably is better. But anyway, when you guys do that, when you talk about sharing the podcast and listening to the podcast, it really, really is cool. And so we love it when you like, share, subscribe, do the social media things that I don't know how to
All the
do.
things.
Special thanks to all of our friends in the Rapid Center for coming over to the studio today. And thanks to Sam Wallace, our intrepid producer. You've spent another hour with us. And I hope that you do it again next time. We got a really cool episode coming up in October.
That's right. Yeah.
And
Debbie Matthews, baseball alum. So keep on going.
take me out to the ball game. It's going to be really fun. Stay tuned for that one as well. Until
Absolutely.
then,
Go
go
Cats.
Cats.